Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Not all the time.
Sort of reminds me of Hugo Weaving, the actor that was born in Africa, lived in England, and then came to Australia for a bit, and then South Africa, England. And then finally, at 16 years of age, it was just Australia. The mind was made up, you know?
Yeah, Hugo Weaving is a big person over here. So you see him in everything. It's great.
Yeah, he's a great actor, and he was in the Captain America movies.
Yeah, he was as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. I love Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America. The first Avenger is one of the great movies for superheroes, in my opinion.
Oh, I love all the Marvel. I really like Black Panther. I think that one's
Black Panther.
That's one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So far, what's your favorite movie if you had to pick?
Oh, that's so tough. I reckon it's The Truman Show, if you've seen that with oh my god, what was my brain doing? You know who's in it. Yeah, I reckon I love that. And I usually don't. He's a great actor, but because it's a more serious role, I really loved him in that. I don't know, I think the whole idea of, I think someone told me this story when I was really young, and I was like, oh no, that's awful that everybody knows that he's in this world, but he doesn't know he's in this world. Like, he thinks this is reality. And I was like, that's so mean. I remember someone telling me about it at school, and I was like, this is horrifying. And then when I watched it as an adult, I was like, oh, I get it now. But I think because I'd heard about it from when I was so young, I really wanted to watch it. And then when I did watch it, it didn't disappoint. So yeah, I don't know. What's your favorite film?
I had to pick my favorite film of all time. Well, Christmas-wise, it's The Polar Express. You know, nothing will ever top that as a Christmas movie. And but if I had to pick my favorite movie of all time, let me think about that one. Oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes, great choice. I love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Any musicals? I love musicals. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
Polar
love
Express is kind of like a musical too, isn't it? It's got music in that too.
Yeah, you should have seen my older brother Harrison when he dabbled into acting, and he was in a lot of musicals during high school drama, you know, and college drama. And he was really good at acting. He doesn't do it anymore, but he was really talented. And have you ever heard of the musical, The Drowsy Chaperone?
I actually have. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I have heard of it. Yeah.
This was the funniest story I remember from Harrison's acting. And it was just an unexpected moment that turned into a spectacle during the play. What happened was he portrayed he was one of the members of the couple, but he was the butler, you know?
Okay.
He was the British accented butler that was chaperoned with his maid or whatever the character is, you know, his lady, I'll say in this case. And in the scene, me and my folks were watching him from the audience, but in this scene, it requires his co-star to say that despite prohibition, she's going to take a swig of wine behind the law's back. And so Harrison picked up the glass, and it was the kind of wine glass with the flat on the bottom, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But it was a prop. And what happened was the minute he picked it up, the flap came falling off, which meant that if he set it down, it would have fallen over and spilled.
Oh,
and so he had... And part of the scene, you know, required him to set it back on the table when she drank it. And so what ended up happening was he and his co-star, after an awkward pause, they whispered to each other. And then what happened was they began the scene the way that it was supposed to. And then Harrison gave her the wine, and she drank it and spat on him. Because the thing was, she was only going to spit on him once in the scene. And then he
Right.
was going to leave the area to go get some more drinks. But what ended up happening was
I had to
they
do it.
decided they improvised it to where he just gave her the drink, she drank it, spat on him, and then he gave it to her. She drank it, spat on him over and over and over again until the scene
Wine
ended.
was gone.
It was so awesome. The
By the
crowd
end of
was
it, he would be like,
laughing,
"Oh, that's so funny." Yeah,
and
I kind of feel.
the crowd was laughing. The whole theater was dying, and my mom and dad were laughing their butts off, and I was just watching like, you
This
know,
is not supposed to happen.
I was I was finding it funny, but I was like, I can tell that
Oh,
wasn't planned. And
yes, yeah.
but what
There's
was
been a
interesting,
few moments. Yeah, I was gonna say there's been a few moments like that in my very early like career, if you call it that, when I was at primary school. The first role I ever got, I was in Jack and the Beanstalk, and I played Daisy the cow, but I played her back half. So I was the bottom part. So I'm like hunched over, and we had to walk up this stairs to get onto the stage. But I stacked it and I fell over, and obviously the whole cow costume like fell apart, and I'm on the floor like, and the audience is like laughing so hard, and I'm like so embarrassed. Oh my god, put everything back on and like go off. And then there was another time where I had to do I was singing and dancing in a solo, and I was doing for something from Chicago, and I was like, all that jazz, and I jumped, and the microphone that was on my face, the whole mic dropped and smashed on the floor, and I was like, oh no. And I was only about 10, so it's probably not the most appropriate song for a 10-year-old to sing, but I was like, what do I do? And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. And then someone like came up on stage and gave me a microphone and just kept going. And I was like, oh my god, this is horrifying. I just kept singing. And then afterwards I got off the stage and I was like obviously mortified. And everyone afterwards was like, well done, you kept going. That was amazing. You did so well. And I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I got through it.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I was going to bring up, now that you brought that up, I was going to tell you that after that funny scene with his co-star, when it was over, Harrison and his co-star went up to the director of the play, Dr. Denny, and they apologized for breaking the glass,
oh,
literally and figuratively. And Dr. Denny was like, "No, guys, that was
it was
perfect."
awesome. Yeah.
And not only that, but Dr. Denny was like, he said, when you guys play the next shows tomorrow and the next day, I want
Again.
that to be how you perform that scene.
Sometimes these things happen and they're like just special moments where it's like an accident, and they're usually the things that you end up using, especially when you're filming like TV and film. Something will happen, they'll go, oh, that was great, let's just keep that. And you're like, I wasn't supposed to do that, but that's the take they usually pick because it's more natural. Yeah, happy accidents for sure.
Yeah, happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say.
Yeah, I love Bob Ross. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what obstacles did you overcome to get into the acting at the moment?
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.